Hi guys, and welcome back to another video, and today's video is a little bit different. Basically, I did a talk, workshop talk on branding for music artists at an international music business school, and before I did it they just sent me some questions to include in my presentation if I was stuck or if I wanted some guidance. And they were all about the process of being a creative director in the music industry. So I thought, because I'd already prepared my presentation like a nerd, so I thought it might be nice to answer them in this video. And I get a lot of questions about people who might want to do this as a career or what to study and things like that. So I figured this might be interesting for those people and maybe other people too, who knows, but I'm doing it anyway. So I'm just going to answer some questions about my job role really and my processes, and yeah. It's not what I usually do. I usually share tips on branding, marketing and visuals, so if that is useful to you then please subscribe. Okay, first question. What are the main functions and responsibilities of a creative director in a music project? Okay, so my main responsibility, I would say, in a music project, and they do vary. My main role in terms of, say, a campaign is coming up with the visual concept. So I work with the artist, I work with the song and the meaning behind the song and create a visual concept that goes with that and that is authentic to the artist, and I have my ways of making sure it's authentic to the artist. And then it's about developing that to the point where it ends up as a finished product, a finished photo shoot, a finished campaign with obviously the imagery, the video. So the creation and development of the visual concept, I would say, is my main role. I also coordinate all the creatives, so I would make a document that outlines basically the visual guidelines for the project and make sure I would prep the photographer, videographer, anyone involved, the marketing team, basically be the contact for all of them to make sure that everything that's done is aligned to the brief, to the visual brief. So that, I would say, is my main role, but it could also involve designing logos or building a website, again, all adhering to this visual guideline. I might also make a brand guideline for the artist just generally, if they don't have that in place already. When they do a campaign, I would do that first. And that's a more kind of groundwork brand guideline that everything else is then built on. So the campaign would be separate from that. The campaign guideline would be a developed version of that. Yeah, I could also maybe create content or teaser videos. Yeah, video editing, photo editing, compiling posts for the Instagram aesthetic. There's a lot of things, but those cover the main ones, I think. Who are the clients of a creative director in the music industry, and how do you find new clients to work with? Okay, so my clients are mainly independent artists or labels / management companies. I do also work with businesses or freelancers, just if there's a match there, style-wise, personality-wise, but predominantly it's music artists and labels or music-related companies. And I find new clients basically through networking, being recommended by people I've worked with, and through organic social media. Boop. Okay, who else do you need in your team to realise a creative campaign? Okay, so in terms of release campaigns then, it would be a photographer, a videographer, probably a marketing person or team, and then maybe people doing social media as well, kind of engagement and actually posting the posts. That is generally the team I would work with. At a label, there would also be A&R that I would take their initial guides or thoughts for the artist, and we would work together on creating their authentic brand and developing their visual. But yeah, in terms of a release creative campaign, those ones. Could you describe the process of a creative campaign for a new release, from the moment of idea till its realisation? Okay, there I may well miss out steps here, and it does tend to vary between project. I find every artist and every project is completely individual, but generally I would always start with a handful of consultations with the artist to get an idea of their authentic brand, how far along they are in that, and how much work I need to do in that initial visual branding stage. From there, I would quiz them on the song or the release and find out more about any ideas they have visually, things like that. So then I can go into the research stage, and that would be researching concepts, maybe coming up with multiple ones that they can then pick from. And that would just be mood boards, annotations, just initial ideas, Pinterest boards, that kind of thing. From there, it would develop further. Then it would be planning the photo shoot. So I would work with, say, the manager or the artist and the photographer to plan location, props, styling, and the actual imagery. I would create a shot list and just give them more specific details for that specific photo shoot. And then once that's done, it's a case of compiling the campaign. I would do a visual mock-up of, say, the Instagram grid, and also like a big spreadsheet campaign of every post, in what order, caption guidance, that kind of thing, and making sure everything basically represents the core concept of the campaign. Yeah, I may well have missed things out, and obviously there are things like assets and videos that would be created potentially, but that gives you like a rough guideline. Which factors do you need to consider while planning a creative campaign for a new release besides artist's vision? Okay, so yeah, the artists, any initial influences they have or ideas visually would definitely be taken into account. Their budget, their resources, like what kind of team members they have, whether they have a photographer, videographer, social media team, that kind of stuff. The meaning behind the song, any visual imagery that comes up for them when they were writing the song, and then also the initial brand guidelines, the like initial visual identity of the artist as well. I always try to build the campaign from that as like a development. So I think, yeah, those would be it. Okay, and then there's a couple of questions about revenue as well, which I will cover. What are the revenue sources for a creative director? Again, this totally varies, and this is the business side, and it's how you want to do business. For me, I go a mixture between offering like retainer options, which is long-term, regular hours, one-off projects, passive income, which is the courses I have on my website. You can go and have a look in my web shop for like my passive courses. They're just downloadable. And then obviously YouTube, once monetized, that will be another source of revenue. Yeah, so I have a few income streams, but that was my preference. I really wanted the passive streams, and I really wanted multiple options. I didn't just want to swap my time for money on an hourly basis. So again, that's up to you. That's how you want to do business. How do you decide what your fee for a project has to be? Okay, so I work out the time it would take, and then coordinate that with an hourly rate. 2, I would look at how far along the artist is and how clear their vision currently is, because if I need loads of research time, then obviously it's going to cost more. If someone's super clear, then it's going to take less time. And 3, the amount of value it brings. Yeah, if someone's brand new and they've got no team members and they're just starting from scratch, I would charge way less than if I was hired by, say, a major label for a newly signed major artist. And obviously you just have to judge where on the spectrum their value is that they're getting. So yeah, that is mainly how I create my prices. But yeah, so I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!